Hey YouTube, I'm Brian J 1962. Yeah, you all know me, but whatever. I've been asked to do a promo for the Awesome Crew show. I watch it occasionally. It's not too bad if you like that sort of thing, but I would encourage you to watch it yourself and then you can make up your own mind. Don't have to take my word for it. Later.
Holy crap, we had a promo, and we're on time.
Did that work?
Yeah, that worked.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and we're on time and stuff, and everyone's here. Except Lenny, you're still showing it.
I'm still showing my screen. Ah, take me off! What do I do?
Take me off of the screen share.
Oh, man. Hello, my beautiful fans and people.
It's like we still don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, we've only been doing this for a fucking year.
Well, it's tricky.
Just take practice. Just take practice.
I think we're just really retarded at this sort of thing.
We're just really bad at this.
We're just really
Thank you, Brian J, for that awesome promo for the show. Yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate all the promos we get. We've got one more left in our backlog, and then we need promos again. So if you haven't made us a promo before and you feel like being generous, please start making us videos.
It looks like Lenny has volunteered to do introductions today.
Yes, oh, I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to? Was that rude?
No, I just figured
I don't
you
give
were
a
talking,
shit.
So go ahead.
It's 2 p.m. on a Wednesday, and you know what you're looking at. It's the Awesome Crew Show with Captain Awesome 13, Robert Wallace, and your favorite, better than Jesus, better than the risen Christ himself, Lenator. Here to see if we can...
Just a little full of himself.
Hey, listen, it's been a big week for my ego. It's been a massive week for my ego. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do today. There's a couple of things we wanted to talk about. We've still got the cut of the week and the marijuana minute, and Robert Wallace wants to talk about some stuff, and Captain Osmo is actually here, which is fantastic. So let's start the show.
Yeah. So let's just stroke your ego a little bit. Let's get to more important things first. So
more important than my ego. What could be more important than my ego?
I can't
think of one thing.
Sure, making sure that people have clean drinking water and infrastructure. So the Builders Without Borders charity campaign, we did our bit for the hour.
Without Borders.
Sure, whatever. We generated roughly about $150, a little bit more, but to those who donated, thank you, you're awesome. And to those who didn't, you guys are colossal pieces of shit. Do better next time.
You know what? I didn't mind that we made $150. Like, you know what I mean? At least we made something. Like, I didn't care. Like, if it was $10, I'd have been just as happy.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to make the least.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we know if we made the least or not? Did everyone else make more than us, or did at least somebody make less than we did?
I don't know, but you know what? We were definitely the first to get donations.
That's true. That's true. We were the first people to get donations. Yeah.
That is true. So.
Because you tried drinking beer in the shower, or
that was horrible.
Cold water on your head, yeah.
That was fucking terrible. So anyways, well, Lenny, why is your ego so big, or bigger than normal? What happened this week with Lenny?
I was very kindly invited onto the place with Dr. Jones.
Cool.
And yeah, it was very good.
Is that one of the guys that Jason Burns yells at all the time?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is one of the guys that Jason Burns yells at all the time. In fact, I think Dr. Jones has even watched our show.
Oh.
He watched, yeah, because he referenced. I was talking to him on one occasion. He actually specifically referenced the episode where we had Jason Burns on our show, and I was just kind of like, oh, huh.
Wow.
You saw that, huh?
Well, what was his feedback on that?
He said that we were just. He said that it really showed that we like to cut loose and have a good time. And
exactly.
He said he pointed out that we're really obviously trying to pull him into that and make him a part of that, and he remarked on the limited success that we had.
And I think the highlight this week was when Lenny described the show as, in the scheme of the great debate community, we're the lobby.
With a lounge.
We're the lounge. We have the snack bar. I mean, we have like the vending machine.
Hot tub in the corner.
We take your dollar from time to time. We have very comfortable couches.
So yeah, on the place with Dr. Jones, I talked a little bit about human awesomeness, and he said my sermon, he called it a sermon, was better than Jesus.
Now, what sermon is it? How did the great and powerful fan favorite Lenatar become someone in the position to actually make a sermon?
Well, the idea was that Dr. Jones has been kind of running with for the last while is that sometimes, sometimes atheists have a better gospel, is the way he puts it. And he was just looking for various people to sort of give their own gospel or their own teaching. And, I talked a little bit about how awesome it is just to be human and the merits of the fact that you're a human. And, try and enjoy that. You're the greatest, most powerful living thing on this planet. Live it up. He said he heard that, and he said, Owen, God, I hear you talking, and you just inspire me. You're an inspiration, and that sermon was just better than Jesus. And I'm like, yes.
Honestly, Lenny, all I got from that is you now have the street cred to get him on the show as a guest. That's all I take from that. So.
If you want to try and subject that man to the Awesome Crew show, then we'll do it. I will attempt to make contact with him, and we'll try and get him on the show.
I'm pretty sure he'll take his shirt off for us.
If you can, oh boy, God, we will have literally. I mean, I know people throw this around from time to time to say, "Oh, you won the internet if you've done this." If we can get Dr. Jones on the show sans shirt, we will. They'll need to send us a certificate from the internet that says you win.
Oh man! So
that's what went on this week.
So we're going to work on that. And actually, another good news. I don't want to. I mean, I don't mind plugging him because the guy's absolutely amazing. But spoke briefly to. Yeah, I know.
You don't mind.
Spoke briefly to. Lenny, shut the fuck up. God, smoke your cigarette and look. I don't know, just vacantly out your window as if you're pondering life's greater mysteries. Just stop. So anyway, spoke to someone who is awesome, who likes to rip on a woo-woo proponent, Marty. We all know him. He said that he would love to come on to the Awesome Crew show at some point. We just need to let him know ahead of time, and he'll try to make it in one of these days. I need to reach out to him further, but he did mention that during the charity event. I would love to have him. So...
fantastic.
That would be great. So, so anyways, it's been I know that there's been a lot of shit going on this week. A lot of stuff with true empiricism, Veckel, G-Man. Just it looks like Thumper is pushing the precept argument further. All that great stuff. So, amidst all this calamity, I'm here on Google Plus. And someone posted a little meme about illegal immigration or whatever. Yeah. And I just left a comment saying, I am against illegal immigration, to which our favorite, and I say that biting my tongue, gritting my teeth, and lip quiver, our favorite creation is thumping nut job, known as Pillbox, decides to comment and says that he asked me why I'm against Mexicans, and I said I'm not against any race. It's not an issue about race. It's about people breaking the law. And he asked me about, well, how has illegal immigration affected you? To which I gave him two examples that have happened to me. One is recent as last year, actually. And I sent him a pretty lengthy, not terribly detailed, but I gave him two examples, to which his reply was, oh, you didn't answer the question, ha 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 ha. You never answer my questions, ha 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 ha. So, anyways, let's talk a little bit about immigration. I know Bobby has some opinions. I'm sure Lenny has some opinions on it, seeing as how he is technically an immigrant. And what are your views on immigration, both legal and otherwise?
Well, why don't you take the first bite?
Yeah.
Well, I'll take the first bite. Well, I like to take probably a nuanced view of it because my mother is a Canadian citizen.
Mm-hmm.
And so on one hand, I see where my mother has been in this country and has jumped through all the hoops you're supposed to jump through with green cards and all that stuff, and then I see people coming in illegally and expecting to be treated just the same as everyone else. That's kind of an insult to her, you know?
Right.
But on the other hand, I see people coming up escaping horrific violence in their own country south of the border. And they're making almost death-defying journeys to get across the southern border. And I see how they're being treated once they get here. And it's like, could we at least treat them like human beings? And when you see crowds of people angrily chanting USA, USA at busloads of children who barely survived making it here, trying to escape being killed in their own countries, you know, that's a whole other thing. So I feel conflicted between the two.
Yeah.
For me, it's about emotion versus practicality. Like, you know what I mean? You see people who are fleeing these countries where, like, you know, where their survivability is much lower, surviving extraordinary political upheaval where, you know, you don't know if your house is going to get raided and you could get shot for being, you know, this religion or part of this political group, or having a cousin who's in this faction that's affiliated with this, and you don't know what's going to happen to you, so you try and leave. And then you know, you come to America, and you know, you want emotionally, you want to reach out to these people and say, yeah, come on, we'll take care of you, we'll protect you, we'll make you a productive member of society. But at the same time, it's not practical, is it? Like, you know what I mean? This country can't afford to do that. It can't afford to have everyone who lives in a crappy country or in a crappy situation come over here and then start, you know, people, you know, maybe who can't speak the common language, or who can't read or write, who have a lower education standard than the rest of the citizens, who need, you know, we're really going to rely on the state for support. Practically speaking, I don't see how that's possible. So you kind of have to figure out, I think the best way to do it is to have a plan in place to make these people citizens and to make them productive members of society.
Right.
And or internationally, you know, work with the UN, work with organizations like Engineers Without Borders, and try and improve the quality of life around the world so that this kind of becomes a non-issue. You know what I mean?
Now Lenny, you're from Europe, so, or, you know, Ireland,
Yes.
whatever. My roommate is from England, and he told me how the Pakistanis over there they're illegal immigrants, so to speak, and that they actually allow sanctuary.
Yes.
So how does that work?
Well, back home we call them asylum seekers.
Yeah, asylum. There we go.
I'm not 100% sure as to how it's done, like, you know, paperwork wise and what else, but I know that there's like hoops that they have to jump through, and it's not easy, and there's a whole branch of government there in place to help asylum seekers, people who are just coming to Ireland or coming to Britain looking for refuge from their potentially hostile place. It's certainly not easy on them, and it's not easy on the country either, and it's not easy on their kids, like, for heaven's sake, their children. You have to try and integrate into society, but there is a lot of support there for them. But there's certain rules that they can't break. For example, my brother's a policeman over there, and, you know, if you talk to him, he'll tell you there's a massive problem that they're having with Nigerian men coming over to Ireland from Nigeria and then just trying to get married as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get married, like, you know, as fast as humanly possible, like, you know, and there's this whole sort of stigma of them, you know, coming over to Ireland and, you know, trying to find the most comely, or homely rather, looking female they can, and saying, hey, I love you, would you like to marry me? And then, like, you know, it creates this whole other problem where the state has to get involved in their personal relationship and their personal affairs and all that kind of stuff, and it's not, you know, it's not great, you know. But at the same time, you don't want to turn these fucking people away, because if you send them back, you're shipping them back to do what? Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I would like to point out one thing before you go on. A lot of people who are coming up from Central South America, coming across our southern borders, are the violence they're escaping is perpetrated by the United States war on drugs. We are actually causing the problem with the war on drugs. All the violence that the drug gangs and cartels are perpetrating is because of our use of drugs and our war on drugs.
Now, obviously, all the immigrants coming from the southern border isn't as a result of that. I mean, Mexico has a really shitty infrastructure. I mean, it is a shitty place to live, but I mean, so is illegal immigration, is it an issue about race? Because that's one thing that bothers me, is that people tend to make it a race issue versus, you people are breaking the law type of issue.
You know, as somebody who's been kind of in the trenches of this race thing for the last 2 fucking weeks, I want you to, just keep in mind that, like, there's racism. People who say racism is exclusively about color, I would disagree with when it isn't.
No, it isn't.
I don't think race is a color thing, and I don't think race is an immigration thing. Like, you know what I mean? Saying that listen, we can't. It's not like we don't want you here. It's not like we don't like you. It's that we can't afford to support you. And
right.
I'm sorry, but you can't be here. You know what I mean? And I think it's something that America could do better at. But I don't think it makes Americans racist to say that. Listen, we can't, economically, it's not viable for us to support every asylum seeker who knocks on the door.
Yeah, and here's what bothered me about this comment that Pillbox made, is that I'm speaking not because when I said against illegal immigration, he immediately turned around and asked me what my problem was with Mexicans. Nothing. If it's not what their ethnicity is, it's whatever the individual did to break the law. And I know the arguments for people who say, illegal immigrants, they take from jobs, they take jobs away from Americans, they take benefits away from Americans, and the general response is, well, no American's going to want to go out there on the fields for 12 hours a day and pick berries, and these people are willing to do the jobs that Americans aren't willing to do, which I can see that point, but I think there needs to be better infrastructure in terms of getting Americans jobs, giving our veterans who come home, who are citizens who actually serve this country, get them jobs first before worrying about people who are in this country illegally. But me personally, I've been affected by job, and I've been affected personally by benefits. I've been affected by both, and I use these two examples towards Pillbox, to which he said that I didn't answer his question, I'm avoiding the question, I shifted the goalpost for some reason. So as far as job-wise goes, everyone knows that I'm a bartender. I don't hide it. I worked at a restaurant. It was one restaurant. It wasn't a chain restaurant. Really upscale, or at least it thought it was upscale. I got a job there, and the head bartender, if you want to even call him that, was an illegal immigrant. And he didn't know fuck all what he was doing, like, at all. He would pour sloppy pours. He didn't count his drinks. He simply did not know what he was doing. And it started to affect the cost of the alcohol. And when I went in there and I started asking him all the questions, like, hey, how many ounces to this? What are your ratios that? He was unable to answer me, answer any of my questions. And at this point, I had already been bartending for 6 years now, so I know what I'm doing. Yeah. And there were times where my boss would ask either one of us, hey, you know what? We need a bottle of this. Our delivery isn't due till tomorrow. Can one of you guys go up and pick up a bottle of alcohol? To which, this bartender would turn to me and say, oh, well, I need you to go and pick up the alcohol because they don't allow my Mexican ID to work. And, it was putting me out. So here I am, clearly the better choice, as far as, like, managing a bar. But yet here's someone who isn't qualified and isn't a citizen running this bar. And on top of that, he ran it into the ground. I mean, he was, he couldn't free pour. He was just glugging into a glass. And one thing that drew customers through this place is how generous our bar was with our pours. And this guy would pour 7-ounce martinis that I actually measured out one day. And if anyone knows anything about martinis, it's pure vodka or gin. So you drink one of those, that's 6 or 7 ounces of just pure vodka or gin. Yeah, you throw a little bit of vermouth in there, but, your basic martini only supposed to be 3 ounces, so he's doubling that. And during happy hour, when all drinks are half off, we're losing money. And I tried calling out this to my boss, and eventually he kind of turned things around. But for some reason, my boss was so defensive over this guy. I don't know what the issue was, but you know, as far at the end of the day, how I saw it is like, look, whether you know he's clearly an illegal citizen. I don't even know how his pay structure worked, because he did really shady shit with his paychecks. And when it came to the end of the night, when it came to declaring his tips, he didn't declare his tips because he didn't pay his taxes. You know, that irritated me, because you know I'd be the next person in line to punch out, and I'm inputting all my numbers, and it's like, dude, why am I having to declare this and he isn't?
Yeah.
You know, it's not fair.
Yeah, it's not.
No, I understand. When I work for Paychecks, I'm a line cook, so we work actually in the same sphere.
Yeah.
So I understand. I've seen similar things, not only in bars that restaurants I've worked in, but on the lines of the restaurants where I've worked in. I've seen similar things happening.
So it's not just about picking berries in the field that a lot of proponents of illegal immigration say, oh, they're doing the jobs that people don't want to do. Here's a case where it's like, dude, this is my trade. I know what I'm doing. I've demonstrated that I know what I'm doing, and yet here's an illegal citizen, you know, running things to the ground, and you know, it affected me to the point so where I no longer work for that. I eventually just quit because it was just such a circus over there. It was stupid. And as far as benefits go, and Bobby, I know you get a lot of assistance through the state, but there's a point about 8 years ago. I was trying to file for assistance. There's hard time. Everyone's had some hard times, and when I called up this line, and you know they ask all the questions like, oh, what's your ethnicity and all this garbage, and I'm answering these questions, and the lady said, you know, unfortunately, we don't have any benefits for you. And I asked, well, why? Why are there no benefits? And she said, well, because we're tending to essentially the immigrants. And you know, this led to a very scathing reply by me saying, it's like, look, I'm a citizen. I genuinely need help. You know, it was medical issues. You know.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah. So why are you denying a citizen, you know, help when it comes to medical bills, yet when all that money is going towards how you say, quote unquote, immigrants, wink, wink.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see, that's why it gets really technical there. But Medicaid actually varies from state to state, and California has a very large influx of illegal immigrants, and every state's different. I know in Washington State here, you couldn't get Medicaid unless you made $250 a month or less.
Wow.
That was the cutoff, and I actually came in on that. But you know, so with the Affordable Care Act, that has changed now. But yeah, that was why it was a medical. Medical runs really funky because it is mostly on state, not federal.
Yeah. So where I live in sunny California, the illegal immigrant population here is primarily Mexican and Chinese. You know, that's most of them, or some sort of, you know, Asia over there, Asia. So again, not a race issue, but it upset me on anything. And finally, I was able to, you know, work it to where, you know, I kept calling and kept being adamant and persistent. But eventually, I did get what I needed. But the fact that they kept turning me down, I fought with these people for about 4 months, and there's no reason why a citizen should be having to go through that when other people who are illegals are able to come in and seem so effortlessly get these benefits. It's like they know the system, they know how to work it.
Well, that is part of it, is they do know the system, and they've had other people who, you know, outside of the system who have been through it go, hey, do this, that, the other. Because if you don't know, it's social services are a thing. If you don't know what you're doing, you damn near need a college education to do it.
Yeah.
The only reason I go through as well as I do is I've been doing it for 15 years straight.
Yeah.
And even I have a hard time from time to time.
Yeah.
So and actually, social services are extremely tricky. And when it comes to medical, it does vary. So, but a lot of the federal stuff, you actually do have to prove your citizenship in order to get it.
Yeah.
So they don't get as much services as you think they do, but yes, they do get more than they should, easier sometimes.
Right, and I don't think that's right at all. I mean, here, I don't even know how to phrase this because I don't want to come across as seeming like a shithead. But I mean, in my scheme of things, it should be take care of your citizens first before you put the needs of anyone else, ahead of them. There are plenty of citizens. There's a lot of veterans out there who need help. My father is one of them. He was a veteran, and he's been having a lot of hard times, and it pains me that I see these people not getting the assistance that they need. Yet here are people just walking across the border or taking a boat to the America, and they're getting what they need when there are plenty of citizens that are getting not that.
Yeah. The cultural attitude towards immigrants as well, I think, is something that needs to be sort of checked. Like, you know what I mean? You're less educated. I mean, as I said before, like, I'm essentially an immigrant. Essentially.
Yeah.
I'm an American citizen. I've been an American citizen most of my life. My mother's American, so I received citizenship essentially the same week I was born. Some paperwork had to be filed, and I got a piece of paper that was called a DS-42, I think it's called. It's the Declaration of Birth Abroad. It's letting the American government know that a citizen was born somewhere else.
Right.
And when I came to America in 2003, one of the first things that we did was like, okay, well, you don't have a social security card yet. Let's go get that sorted out. And I think it took like a month to go get my social security card and have it, go sign some stuff. And you go hand it up, and a very sort of bored and apathetic-looking lady behind a counter who looks like had her nails just done handed it to me and said, "Congratulations, here's your social security card." I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah.
But the cultural attitude towards immigrants, it's just to bring it back to what Pillbox said, it's not about race. It can't be about race.
And you know what? People do make it about race, though. There are those that do. Fuck the Mexicans. Well, at least here where I live, it's like, fuck the Mexicans, burning Mexican flags and all that crap. And, it's not about the Mexicans. Not all Mexicans are illegals, nor should we throw them all in that same...
Well, not all the Hispanics are Mexican either.
Exactly.
It's Honduran, Salvadoran, Guatemalan.
Yeah, of course.
Puerto Rican who are completely legal and allowed to live here.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of the big things that something I've been talking about a lot for the last couple of weeks, and I think it's relevant here, is the mass Irish immigration to the United States back in the mid 19th century, particularly between 1845 and 1852. In that time period, in that time chunk, 1.1 million Irish people left Ireland and came to America. In just 7 years, in that very short amount of time, 1.1 million Irish people came to New York. That's about, conservative math, 400 and some odd people per day arriving in this country. And the cultural attitude towards Irish people then was amazingly poor. People hated us.
Irish need not apply.
The paddy wagons, buddy. The paddy wagons.
I can show you newspaper clippings pulled out from actual, nationwide considered important, not just like this broadsheet rag shit, actual newspapers saying that, your Africans are black on the outside, but the Irish are black on the inside. You know what I mean? And that's you say, no, it's fine.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, they're not wrong.
That's why I was laughing.
Irish anatomy is different. We are actually black on the inside. It has to do with cigarette tar and a number of other things.
Hey, my family came from Scotland, so we're only half as bad. Yeah.
And there, I can actually show you news clippings, like actual artist renditions of how you can tell a higher person from a lower person, and how you can identify. I mean, the idea was at that time in America that if you were, it was called Anglo-Teutonic, you were considered part of a better race than if you were Celtic, Irish, or African.
and they have pictures, and they have an Irish person, a drawing of an Irish person's head next to an African person's head, and they say like, oh look, you can see the skin color is different, but look in the similarities in the nose and the shape of the head, and see how similar they are. That's how you can tell a bad person. That's how you know you're talking to an Irish person or an African person. This is an Anglo-Teutonic person, and look how awesome, pretty, and beautiful they look. Look at their, fucking blue hair and.
To be honest,
blue eyes and blonde hair.
I just look for the ginger hair. That's all I look for.
Well, you see, another way you can tell somebody.
Never tell the difference.
Another way you can tell somebody from Scotland or Ireland is check their blood, and if the alcohol content's enough for it to catch fire,
your racism is so. Your racism is just so awful.
Now here's the thing, and Pillbox tried to throw this out there, and we've all heard this argument. Well, at one point, America was founded by immigrants. And, we have a bit of a dark history. Every country has some sort of darkness in their past. And
you will not find a single country on this planet that was not just born in blood.
Exactly.
It takes blood to build a country.
Exactly. So we have the Native Americans. What we did to them was horrible. Abso-freaking-lutely. We tricked. What did we do? Buy Manhattan for like beads? Some bullshit.
The thing is most of the Native Americans were wiped out. 98% of them were killed off after the first explorers hit our country, and then before Plymouth Rock and the other people came over, the diseases we brought them wiped out 98% of their population.
Smallpox, baby, smallpox.
One of the greatest extinctions.
Yeah. So
consumption, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. So here's how I think of it. You have bands of immigrants from all over Europe coming together, and yes, blood was shed, absolutely. But what did these immigrants do? They created infrastructure, they passed laws. And these immigrants who founded this nation passed laws protecting the better interests of this country when it comes to immigration, saying that, hey, you know what? We accept all people, land of the free, home of the brave. However, you have to go about it legally. That is what these immigrants who came to this country, yes, after the bloodshed from the Indians, but once the infrastructure was there, that is what these immigrants passed into law.
Well, now you see, I would disagree with the idea. I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, and this is more sort of just a chewing point for me, but it's not a big deal. I don't know if I necessarily agree that the original people who came over here on the Mayflower, or wherever the fuck it was, could you really call them immigrants?
I call them immigrants.
Because I would call them like settlers, or people conquering a territory.
For all intents and purposes, I mean, they fit
like an invasion.
Yeah, but they're still immigrating from one point to another.
Prior to the plagues that killed off the natives, the society that was here was equal to anything in Europe. It was just different.
Oh, I don't know if it was equal to anything in Europe now, to be honest.
Some of the cities around St. Louis prior to the extinction through disease and white man came afterwards, some of the stuff was easily equal.
Oh, well, I mean, like the big difference, the thing that put Britain on top of the world, as it were, was the fact that Britain knew how to build ships.
Well, there was that.
They developed intercontinental travel through shipbuilding. No one else was doing that, and we're talking about different kinds of
except for the
fucking
Vikings.
Gunpowder, for heaven's sake. I mean, come on, you can't tell me they were on the same level. They didn't have the same level of technology.
The Vikings were pretty good at their shipping.
Yeah, they were.
There's actually documented Native Americans from North America crossing over to Europe in their ships prior to any British Navy ever existing. So,
is that right?
Yes.
The Vikings were really good shipbuilders. Absolutely, they were.
I've never heard of any kind of Viking vessel managing a trip across the Atlantic.
Leif Erikson was the one who originally discovered America, not Columbus.
And they had their asses kicked by the superior forces of the Native Americans. That's why they didn't settle.
Yep.
We're also talking about...
Do some research into Paleo-American stuff. They were actually very sophisticated. I mean, look at all the stone pyramids in Central and South America. I mean, they were everywhere as good as Europe. It was our diseases that brought them down. If it hadn't been for those diseases, white man never would have got a foothold in North America.
And besides, the Vikings know how to tame dragons.
Yes.
Yes, there's that. There was the dragons thing. No,
But
I
let's get back to the immigrants.
yes, I'm sorry. No,
Yeah,
I
but-
must concede I was mournfully
that was,
ignorant
that was me.
No,
of
but
the Nordic
no,
trip to America there. I had no idea.
yeah, Leif Erikson was the person, the Nordic person who actually did discover America first. It was like 150 to
Tony Erickson.
no, Leif Erikson was,
Oh.
was his name.
Yes, son of Eric the Red.
Yep.
How did they
So-
survive months? Because it would have taken weeks or months on a ship.
Months. I think it's like 2 or 3 months.
Are
Yeah,
you kidding? Those
that's-
guys
seems
will eat
impossible.
anything.
Yeah.
No,
They probably
I-
started eating the floorboards.
No, actually, they were very good at it, both fishing and they had stock and provisions, and it didn't take them months. They were actually very, very good at. They colonized most of the northern Atlantic.
The
I mean-
Titanic was going to take weeks to get from
No, just
from
5
London
days,
to New
I
York.
think. 5 days
5
to
days?
a week, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot long of a voyage.
Yeah.
So I'm swinging nothing today. I better shut up.
Yeah.
Right.
How awesome are you now, bitch? Behold
You know
your
what?
idol, internet.
Oh.
Behold the powerful Lenatar.
Oh.
And,
the
and he's
mistakes.
better than Jesus.
All the mistakes I'm making right now,
Oh,
Jesus would have
man.
made worse ones. Because I'm better than Jesus.
You know what? Here, today's challenge. Whoever writes the funniest anti-Lenatar comment in the chat.
No.
Yeah, that'll be the description. Let's talk shit on Lenny in the comments section. Go for it. Let's bring him down about 5 or 6 notches, like his belt.
No. No, I belong up here.
Knock him off his high horse. But anyway, so I mean that's going back. That's sort of how I look at it. I mean, it might not have been the original immigrants, but the descendants of these immigrants, under full knowledge of their history, where they came from, passed into law these set criteria for people to enter the country, and it's for the best interests of the country and its people. And I respect that. So yes, was America founded by immigrants? Absolutely.
I still think there's a difference between immigrants and people conquering a territory. Like,
Well,
would you say the Romans were immigrants in Europe because they conquered it, or they were immigrants in England because they conquered it?
Well,
I mean,
let's bring this back to modern day times, where I understand where you're going
Yeah.
with wanting people to go through the legal channels of immigration, and I agree with you. But I think we need to have another gray area for people actually as refugee status. And I think like what we're experiencing, the crisis we're experiencing today, with people sending their children across the border unaccompanied,
Yeah.
I think we need that gray area because they are actually more refugees from the violence of the drug war than anything else. And I think we should be more humane with their treatment, rather than just lock them up in jail, hold trial, and send them back.
And you know what? I totally agree, and that's why I was curious as to how Europe deals with the asylum laws. Because again, my roommate, he's from England, and he told me all about the asylum. Well, he made mention of it, but he didn't go into detail, so I'm not sure how their process is. But
it's a similar practice. Although, like, even for someone who's legitimately trying to, I mean, actually, if I could get my mother on the line, when she moved to Ireland, she was 18 or 19. She moved to Ireland to study under a student visa in University College Dublin, and the hoops she had to jump through to get citizenship. You know what I mean? Like she told me like it was a bloody bureaucratic nightmare.
yeah.
She had to live in the country for 7 years, on and off. She had to learn to speak some Irish. She had to make sure, like, they had to make sure that she knew what the laws of the country were and that she was able to live and work there, and all this other kind of stuff. And it was just, even after she got married, she had to be married for another 7 years. She had to, and there was like rules on like something about how and when she could get pregnant. Like, you know what I mean? It was Ireland has really tightened its belts because while America can't support that infrastructure, when you've got people when America can't support a massive influx of immigrants from other countries, you can imagine a little dinky country like fucking Ireland like trying to do it. Like, you must be joking. So Ireland, to my understanding, is much stricter than America is.
But to be fair, if we didn't spend so much money on other things, it wouldn't be that big of an issue financially.
That is true. We
What
do
Bob
have a
is
very
referencing specifically here is the defense budget.
Yes.
yeah, we do have a very bloated defense budget. That is
Yes.
yeah.
And it all feeds into the same thing, really, isn't it? I mean, you know, where did this, I mean, American paranoia come from? Like, you know what I mean? I see Americans as being, you know, sort of as a group, like, just to be a massive generalist bastard here, but like, you know, the idea with gun control and with the defense budget and the international attitudes just towards other countries, I see a lot of paranoia and fear. It's like America is scared of the rest of the world.
In my opinion, you'd want to take that back to 1946 and the beginning of the Cold War, and the rivalry between America and communist forces. So much of what we've done in the world has been in that context.
I would see now, just because you're probably much better at American history than I am, although I do feel like I know some, I am familiar with the Cold War and the Cuban Missile Crisis and all that kind of stuff, but I would have attributed at least a resurgence of it to 9/11.
No.
That is a lot of it does go to 9/11.
Well, even 9/11 has a lot
Recent.
of Cold War stuff recycled into it. Yeah, you look at most everything. Our whole the blooming of America as a superpower started in 1946, and it started because Europe and Asia was bombed flat. We had no competition. We were the economic engine to the world, and that caused us to just bloat like we did. And with as our main rival, you go through Korea, Vietnam, all of that was parts of the Cold War. And it cycles along to a point where they got this giant, massive thing geared to fending off the Soviet Union, and then the Soviet Union falls. And now you have to have an enemy because we spent the last 50 years building everything to be opposed to an enemy that's no longer there.
You spend
Right.
money building up this massive thing for an enemy that's not able to fight anymore, and that's
And keep in mind, the roots of 9/11 actually come from all the stuff we did because of the Cold War. Restructuring Iraq was done because of communists, trying to keep the communists at bay and keeping hold of the oils. Everything we did in Iran, everything we did in the Middle East, all had roots in what was happening in the Cold War, and all of that precipitated 9/11. So,
Well, here,
yeah,
I,
sure, I agree.
here I'm going to mute myself really quick and dip off camera. I need to make a quick phone call, but I will be listening to you guys. So if you guys want to finish up and then roll into the marijuana minute, and then Lenny go into your, I don't know, cunt of the week ism. All right, I'm listening.
okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, to say that, though, I mean, and I know we've said this on the show before, Bob, and I don't remember if you agreed with me or not. I think you didn't, actually. But from my perspective, the big thing about the 9/11 attack, the goal of the 9/11 attack is something that I think most Americans miss. And I've asked people this, and like, what do you think 9/11 was all about? And I hear ridiculous answers like, oh, it was about extreme anti-Americanism, whatever the fuck that means. Or they hate freedoms. They don't hate freedom. They hate fucking you. The whole point of the 9/11 attack was it was a terrorist attack, and the whole point of a terrorist attack is to make you scared.
Yeah.
And to make you afraid. And then they were showing Americans that, like, while you go stomping around the earth and showing your immorality on TV, they're letting American people know that we can get to you. If we really want to, we can get to you.
Well, okay, my answer to that, and then we should probably move over to your cunt of the week, is I go back to the 1996 interview with Osama bin Laden, where he laid out his groundwork of drawing America into a land war in Afghanistan so they could defeat us there like they defeated the Soviet Union. And then they went on with the Khobar Towers, the coal bombing, all the way up working into 9/11 was all designed to draw America into a land war in Afghanistan. And that's what 9/11 was about, because they wanted to defeat us there because of, in Osama bin Laden's words, when the Saudi Arabia turned to America instead of the Mujahideen to fight off Saddam Hussein in the first Gulf War, that was an unforgivable insult. And
that was an unforgivable insult.
That, along with America stomping around like a drunken idiot.
Yeah.
And so, that's what precipitated the 9/11 attacks from Osama bin Laden himself.
Right. Yeah. But like, I mean, I don't want Americans to kind of like miss the point of what the attack was.
Oh yeah, we egged it on. We bear a lot of responsibility to that. We really do.
But I also do vehemently deny that that Bush had anything to do with it, or the American government had anything to do with it. People who
Oh,
talk
yeah.
like that are
No.
fucking lunatics, and you know.
They're idiots.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so that's a good segue into cunts, though.
It is, yeah. That was Bin Laden. Speaking of cunts,
Yes.
I'm just gonna go to a very quick screen share over here. Click start screen share, and there we go. As mentioned earlier, MG42 Pillbox, you have won, sir. Congratulations to you, because you have won the most coveted award, I think, on the internet, the Cunt of the Week. Now, if you have to ask why this guy's the Cunt of the Week, then you have not been paying attention, I'm afraid, because this guy is an absolute disgusting fucking mess. He goes from he's almost bipolar in his attitude towards other people. He talks nice. He has interesting discussion points. He knows nothing about evolution. Well, he says he does, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he'll turn into a condescending dick. Especially when it comes to experts like Fiona Robertson, when he tells her that she's not really a Christian, and she knows nothing about science, and she's a bullshit peddler, and all this other kind of stuff. I actually heard him levy a verbal assault against a guy named Carlton, who he's kind of talky. He knows how to run his mouth a little bit, but he started calling him a pedophile. A pedophile. Live on the air. In a hangout that I was in, just started calling him a pedophile. Now, there's just something about nasty internet people where they don't realize, Richard Raspberry, that when you make serious allegations of crime or wrongdoing against other people, that can have serious ramifications on that person in real life. You know what I mean? All it takes is one Yahoo to hear that Carlton is a pedophile, like, hey, I know where that cunt lives, and now I'm going to go sort him out. So you kind of have to be careful about that crap. And Pillbox, I mean, really, you're a fucking mess. Also, you're Cunt of the Week. I love you, though, and I'm glad you're subscribed to me, but you're a fucking cunt. And that is my Cunt of the Week. This one I'm particularly proud of. Look at him. Balls deep in a turtle. All day. I love him. Let's have a marijuana minute.
Well, marijuana, this actually, if you have watched the news, any kind of news around, you know what the marijuana minute is today. And that is the fact that yesterday, legal marijuana sales started in Washington State. Now, as I said in a video on Monday, I decided my plans that originally planned on going out on opening day and buying some pot, bringing it back, and sampling it here live on air. But the way the state has staggered openings and the supply and everything, I pushed that off. Of the maximum 350 stores, I think 25 stores were allowed to open. There's only 3 strains available because of the way they did the people growing. They don't have full crops in yet. Not everybody has full amount of marijuana. I think one store only had 10 pounds, which they didn't sell out, so they're still going to be open today. So although it's legal sales, there's only 3 strains available and not a whole lot to go around yet. So I'm avoiding the long lines. I'm going to wait a week or two before I go down and let things get straightened out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the thing. The big thing now is you can now go down to a store like you go into a 7-Eleven, which is a nice stop afterwards, I'm sure. Buy your legal marijuana. They're selling it in prepackaged 2-gram packs right now. And you can buy your marijuana. Still not legal to consume in public and still illegal to drive under the influence. So you want to bring it home before you sample it. But if you are over the age of 21 in Washington State, you can now legally purchase marijuana like you're legally purchasing the bag of chips you're going to need afterwards.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
It is. No,
do we have an idea of price? Like, what's it actually going to cost to purchase a bag of marijuana? Is the government taxing the ever-living motherfuck out of it?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, you see, the way 502 was structured was put in a 25% tax at all 3 levels, 25% tax at production, 25% tax at processing, and 25% tax at retail sales.
Jesus wept.
Yeah, well, luxury tax. But as it turns out that there's a huge markup on black market marijuana, and it's really not that expensive to produce. So the prices are going to be coming down, but because of restricted supply right now, people are paying upwards of $20 a gram right now.
$20 a gram.
which is about double what black market price is.
Yeah, geez, fucking hell. I mean,
But-
it's a step in the right direction, though. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, see, that's going to come down. They expect it to come down to about $12 a gram come fall. Because, if you structure your indoor grows and you do it right, you can start getting a harvest every 2 months. We don't have we don't have as many grow operations going now as we will eventually because of the way state is really being slow at licensing people. And then various cities are having moratoriums or bans on marijuana businesses because, screw their voters voting to legalize it. They know better. So they've got all this. Everybody's trying to hold on to prohibition and throw up as many grow blocks as they can. And that's meaning we have a limited supply, and that's what's pushing the price up. But come fall, October, November, the outdoor grows will come in, and the prices are going to bottom out once the outdoor grows come in.
That would be an interesting talking point for the for the Naked After Show if anyone wants to come on and talk about that, because this idea that prohibition does anything except make things fucking worse, I think, is stupid. Prohibiting people from doing things is bad in some cases. I think we should be prohibiting people from murder, but let's not prohibit them from alcohol, marijuana. I would even make an argument that even legal use of prostitutes can be a beneficial thing.
I'm categorically against prohibition, but you got to measure your laws against the balance of social harm versus what the social harm of what you're trying to stop people from doing. I mean, get around in that balance point.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting stuff. Absolutely. Well, what if I wanted to grow marijuana in my home, and then could I become a legal vendor?
To become a legal vendor to grow marijuana, you would have to apply to a state to get a license, and you would have to pass through all of their criteria. Home grow is not allowed in Washington State, which I personally think is a mistake. I personally think we should allow people to grow a certain amount of plants per adult over the age. Because you can brew a certain amount of beer in your house for every adult. You should be able to grow some plants. But we do not have that. Colorado does have home grow. So if you want to grow your own plants, move to Colorado.
Sure.
I think in this next upcoming election, Oregon legalized, and I believe they're going to have a home grow option. Don't quote me. And Alaska is likely to legalize in the next elections as well.
Fantastic.
Yes,
I'm wondering if I don't think somewhere like where I live, or Central Florida, it's so conservative down here in some ways.
Actually,
in other ways, it's not, because Florida's a massive swing state. It could go either way, but marijuana is just something I don't see buckling down here.
You are likely to be able to vote on medical marijuana in this upcoming election.
I'd be interested in doing that. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Medical marijuana is on track to, if not this next, Florida will be voting on it.
Yeah. I don't even understand how it needs to be voted on. Like, I think it's been pretty well demonstrated that cannabinoids do inhibit cancer cell growth. They don't necessarily inhibit, but they do slow it down.
In vitro, they do. They haven't been able to prove that it works in a person's body, but in vitro, it definitely has been shown. It has definite positive effects for chemotherapy. It's been demonstrated to be positive for people with epilepsy, and actually, I'm in continuing discussions with a neurologist about that. So, yeah.
Yeah, we get that sorted out. Then we'll move on to stem cells, and then we'll be grand.
Yeah.
I don't know why stem cells are.
Because of the baby.
Baby, honestly, I love that one episode of Family Guy where Peter gets a stroke and he walks into like a stem cell research facility, and he comes out 5 minutes later and he's all, that's it? He goes, oh, yep, that's it. And he's all, why are we not pursuing this?
Or the episode of South Park with Christopher Reeve.
Oh, dude,
cracking open dead babies like beer.
Oh. So,
dear me.
We have about 10 minutes to kill. Do you guys want to open up the discussion, maybe-ish? Get a few idiots. So before we went live, we did throw out some invitations to some, I call them idiots, to potentially join in. Pillbox is one of them, because I wanted to rip him a new one yesterday on J.D. Kane's show, Talking Shit Tuesday, which, right before we were to go live, I got a very important client phone call that required my attention, and then after that I get distracted with, I don't know, fapping or something. So, and there's another charming individual. What's his name? Benny88Man. Yeah, I sent an invitation to him, but he finally got back to me saying that he can't make it because he wants to watch like Big Brother or some bullshit UK. So, sadly, he could not join us today. But another lovely individual that I'd love to rip open.
Other times.
I know. So, anyways, I'll plop the link. How about that?
Do that.
Okay, we're plopping the link now, so all of you idiots can come running in here.
Absolutely.
And I say that, with love.
I say that with love. I'd love to see some particular people. Like Rico Torrado is a guy who's been subscribed to me for some time, and I think he's subscribed to the Awesome Crew Show as well. And he's been commenting a lot on this video. So if Rico, if you want to come in, I'd love to hear what you have to think, either on this or on the Naked After Show.
Yeah, I think he definitely has comments about immigration.
Yeah, cool. So the link is there. Come on in, you pack of idiots. Malady said he missed the cunt of the week, and I just was kind of hearing from a distance. So, Pillbox is our cunt of the week. Yes.
So long in the coming.
Yeah, that needed to happen. That genuinely needed to happen. Pillbox, you are a raging fucking cunt monster.
He is.
I swear. And like, his finest moment as Pillbox was when J.D. Kane and I were talking to him about using trigonometry to determine star distance, and Pillbox being Pillbox, not reading a damn thing that he posts as evidence or reading anything. Star trigonometry problems, and it ends up being a fucking star testing aptitude test for students in California.
No. That one was good. That one was good.
Dude, the answers were on page 4.
I know, darling.
They were talking about a baseball diamond, and he's like, "Yep, that disproves right there, JD." Oh.
The big one for me, I think, my favorite Pillbox gaff moment was the one where he sent me like a quote where some biologist, I forget his name, and I always forget his name, was sort of disparaging evolution. He's like, "Look,
Stephen Jay Gould.
Stephen Jay Gould was disparaging evolution, and he got that from an article. He quote mined it from an article in which Stephen Jay Gould was bitching about being quote mined."
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? Like, this is what gave rise to the idea that Pillbox is a Poe.
Yeah. Again, Pillbox, but see, whenever you call him out on shit like that, he turns around and says, "Oh, well, it was just a joke." Yeah, you atheists do it all the time. It's just a joke. I'm like, you must be fucking retarded.
Yeah, it's just a joke.
Yeah. Anyways, Cliff, Sky Daddy, Archive, glad to still see you alive and kicking. Hello.
Wonderful that the Archivist is so resilient in his re-uploading of Jason Burns videos, clogging up my fucking subscription feed.
Yeah. You know what? How is Burnsy? I have not paid attention to Burns in at least 2 months now. How is our lovable Burns?
Not really caring.
Okay.
Good input.
Thanks, Cliff. Cliff, have you assaulted anybody today?
No, not today. I haven't been out. I only do this when I go out.
Cliff Jumper is like a 7-foot monster who approaches 4-foot midgets and harasses them with cameras in his face. He's like a mongoloid paparazzi for evangelicals, really. You're a horrible person.
I'm not a horrible person.
But we love you all the same.
Horrible to people I don't like.
And then we have Sky Daddy. Have we ever had Sky Daddy on the show before?
I don't think we have.
No. Hi, Sky Daddy. Apparently, Sky Daddy, he's much like other Sky Daddies. He's doesn't say much, and you can't see him.
I just want to know.
Fuck
you. I just want to note that there has been a very low influx of Lenny abuse on the feed for this video. And I have been checking. In fact, Mr. Audience Member said that he didn't have it in him to say anything bad about me because of how I wear my mankini. Guys, better than Jesus. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? You know what I mean? This is how it is.
You know, when you described Pillbox's "come to the week" moment as a long time in the coming, all I could think of was Viagra.
Pillbox. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna have this going for about 5 more minutes. So you guys say shit.
You got
Say shit, and then Lenny will open it up for the Naked After Show.
the Naked After Show.
Yeah.
Which is very
Which-
exciting.
Which seems to get socked a lot. So there you go.
It's been getting socked a bit lately, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Raul.
Yeah. Thanks to Raul.
Hey,
So
buddy.
there is one asshole, and I'm waiting for him to leave some sort of comment, or I'll just track him down. Lenny has his first sock account, Lenny the Leprechaun,
Yeah.
and for some reason, this guy keeps regurgitating the same shtick over and over and over again, telling Lenny to get back to his cereal box. Like, dude, we heard you the first time. It's still not funny.
Yeah, it wasn't funny the first time you fucking did it, and it's still not
Yeah.
funny now. I'm looking at
crap,
Sky Daddy's
Sky
beard.
Daddy.
He looks amazing.
Yeah, holy shit.
Look at that. Look at that man. Turns
He's
me on.
bearded just like the Sky Daddy that we all know and don't see any evidence for.
As a fellow man of a fairer color beard, I want you to know I'm with you, brother. And you're an aficionado of Hawaiian shirts, so I like this guy already.
Yeah.
We may have finally found a legitimate replacement for Captain Osimo on the show.
I would love to throw down with the Sky Daddy over here. Holy shit. See, what is it? The hair club for men? At some point when you lose the hair up here, you have to grow hair right here? to
No,
make
it's
up
not
for
the
it?
hair. It's not like that. The hair on your head just starts growing the other direction.
Okay.
It immigrates.
It migrates.
Oh!
You guys calling it immigration? It's not immigration when you come to a country and conquer it. That's not immigrating.
Oh, is that what the U.S. defense policy is then?
Yeah, I was
It could be.
by stealth.
And then we have Kevin, who looks like a combination of Invader Zim and animation from the Gorillas. Hi, Kevin.
Damn right. Hey, what's up?
Kevin's one of mine. He's good people.
Oh, okay.
One of
So-
yours? What the fuck
Yeah.
does that mean?
Means I own your bitch ass.
Okay, just want to be clear.
Okay. It's a horrible day when you're one of Lenny's bitches. Wow.
Yeah, so what have you been doing with your fucking life if you're
Yeah.
one of my bitches?
By the way, Lenny, go get us some more viewers, quick.
Alright, I'm working on it. Fucking hell, I can't be that entertaining. Dear me.
So is my mic working now?
We
Oh,
can
yeah,
hear
we
you
can-
now,
yeah,
yeah.
there's-
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent. That was really difficult. Yeah, it was just, we're actually going to get naked for the Naked After Show, right? Like,
Yeah, that's what.
Okay.
On the Naked
I
After
can
Show.
see
That's what I'm here for.
He's already starting to unbutton his fucking Hawaiian shirt. I see it.
Shit's gonna get weird.
Yeah. I'm already starting to see your fucking gorilla chest there, man. Look at that.
On the Naked After Show, clothing is optional.
I am pretty sure you're not wearing pants right now.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
No, he's pulling the Wayne Hudson, which
This
is.
yeah. This is why I seldom attend the Naked After Show. Too much male on male gnarly nudity.
Man to man, or as I like to call it, man on man.
Man on man. It's a man witch.
Yeah.
Sloppy Joe.
Cliff, I haven't talked to you in forever, Bubba. How you been?
Pretty good. I just finished college and failed it. So yeah.
Oh shit, I'm sorry, Bubba.
No.
Oh, that's all right. It's my own fault. Prince of procrastination. Unfortunately, I didn't get the work done in time, and
Yeah.
stupid thing. But the thing about it is, I didn't really do it for the piece of paper. I did it for the accreditor. I did it for the knowledge. What I have learned has been far better than any piece of paper that I can get.
Sure.
I will say-
I thought it was supposed to be I did it all for the nookie.
So I will say, Sky Daddy, you look like 13 heathens ate 13 heathens.
A younger, healthier 13 heathens.
You're like 13 heathens squared.
younger anyway.
You are 13 squared. That's your new
13
name.
squared.
13 squared. I hereby
13
dub thee 13
To the power of 13.
Yes.
Okay, now.
Well, anyways, anybody want to throw anything in before I stop
Did you
the
hear anything
broadcast?
on the show that you thought you might like to yell at us about?
Please, yell at us.
This is your opportunity.
I also
You're all
live
a
in
bunch of
Washington State, and the legal weed here is too expensive, man. I can't blame you for not picking some up.
Well, the price will come down. I mean, actually, I was just looking now from Washington State Normal. The prices range from $13 to $27 a gram.
Oh shit! Speak of the devil.
Oh shit! Fucked up now. 13 Heathens is here. Now we have fucked up. Am I seeing double?
Dad!
Is this a time machine right now? Fucking time paradox?
But anyway, so I didn't catch that part, but Bobby, you were saying that weed and legal weed in Washington is double the price of street value?
Some of it, yeah. Right now, it's really expensive for the legal stuff.
Wow.
Okay, so why would you buy the legal stuff?
Good question. Honestly, I can't answer that. If you got a decent connection, I wouldn't. And I personally, I'm waiting. No,
So if you drop the price down to like the street level, then surely that cuts out a lot of the crime.
that's the idea. But the thing is, right now there's such a limited supply, and that's actually what's driving up the prices. So come in the fall when the outdoor crops come in and we get more people actually growing on the indoor and we get a steadier supply, the prices will come down. Hopefully they'll let it come down to where it's competitive with black market.
My only little concern about this policy is that there have been studies that have shown that cannabis can kind of screw up your mind a bit. You know, it's one of those overuse problems.
A lot of those studies are flawed, though.
It's anyone, Cliff. If you have if you got a personality flaw or psychological problems, any drug is going to accentuate those, even alcohol. So these are the people who are going to be affected in some way. Maybe less or greater extent in some way in the future anyway. So
I'm reminded of the idea of sort of video games are addictive. It's like, no, video games are addictable. If you're the kind of person that has an addiction problem, then you're likely to get addicted to video games.
It's
correlation, not causation.
So it's like people get addicted to sex. Should we prohibit that? I don't think so.
No.
I will burn this country to the fucking ground if they prohibit sex.
And not even look at. Hey, we have a squirrel. Hey,
I gotta point something out.
Hi, Sky Daddy.
Correction from earlier. You cannot square 13 heathens. It's cube root only.
Okay. So Sky Daddy, you are 13 cubed, okay?
That'll work.
Okay.
I feel sorry for people who British
It makes you more Borg-like.
Sky Daddy, what I want you to do right now, get your sock and put it on and just do something. And, dude, he's already unbuttoning again. Damn. He just dropped 2 more buttons down, man. He's ready for the next.
Sorry, I assumed you were going to say I want you to get naked. I thought that's what I was going to hear. I assumed. It was my bad.
Hey, dude, I already am. Take a look. Birthday.
Yeah! Nothing like naked woodland critters, man. That
Don't you point that fucking thing at me. Put that hey.
Oh, man. I would yip that shit all night long.
Yeah, stick a pencil in it.
Kiss my fuzzy butt.
I would put my hand so far up that ass. Wait a sec.
Occupied, sorry.
That seemed funnier in my head for some reason. Oh, Ameria's here. Hi, Ameria. I haven't seen you in forever and a half. Holy shit. Your hair is looking outward today.
He's worried about the Germans. That's his problem at the moment.
Yeah, just real quick, does anyone want to fucking just talk for 2 seconds about that fucking game yesterday? I've never seen anything like it. My God, never seen anything like it.
Here's my... I can demonstrate my... would you like to hear my 2 seconds of caring?
Go on.
Here it goes.
Aha! I see what you did there. Yeah, what is? Are we talking about the World Cup, that sport that isn't American, so therefore I don't watch it because I'm American?
Yes, there was a sporting event. the Brazilians lost 7-1 against the Germans.
Brazil? Isn't that where all those drugs come from?
Okay.
That's next door neighbor. That's Colombia.
Oh, Brazil isn't where all the big brown asses are, and those beaches.
Yeah.
See, I'm American, so that's all I know of Brazil is drugs and brown ass. Carnival, Carnival, yeah, that. Let's do that because I'm dumb American. What sporting event was it? Was it hockey?
It's sports ball.
What was it? Baseball.
Football is the one where you kick it with your foot.
No, that's not football. Football is where you have a bunch of guys standing in a line and try to get a ball past a certain point, and it's turn-based combat.
Ah, you mean rugby?
What the hell is rugby?
Oh my God, I can't take anymore.
I'm American Eagles. Sorry, American Eagles? I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, so, I'm pulling your leg.
Oh, cool. Enjoy Mark Sanchez.
Hmm.
Oh, another thing. Mark Sanchez, he's my next-door neighbor.
Really?
Yeah, no joke. He's literally my next-door neighbor. Well, not here, but at my mom's house. He's my next-door neighbor.
Oh, so he's literally not your next door neighbor. He's literally your mother.
No,
Why would you just lie on the show like that?
Lenny, shut up.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to leave...
So that's what happens when Lenny speaks out of place.
Oh, no. Oh, no. You mute me on this show, sir. Leave a nasty comment about Captain Osmo in the comment section. You'll get a fucking prize. How do you like that?
No, if you leave a scathing message about Lenny, then you'll get a bigger prize.
No, you'll get it. You'll get the best prize if you leave a scathing comment about Captain Osmo.
No, you will get the better of the best prizes. I am the distributor of the prizes, not Lenny. Lenny does not have access to the prizes.
I'm better than Jesus, so you can count that I'll send you a better prize.
Better, but
look at that! Look at that! Yeah, there's one already.
Santa's better than Jesus.
Already. Someone left a comment already about how awful you are.
Let's see here.
Yeah.
But then again, there were already like 2 comments about you.
Yeah, both saying how great I am.
There's Jim. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, someone did say that I was like pillbox, so there is that. But anyways, Lenny, did you want to end this and go ahead and hit up the Naked After Show?
Yes, I am going to dive out. I'm going to start the Naked After Show. Everyone have an awesome time, and do come join us, because the Naked After Show is your time to come on and yell at us.
Yes, and get naked.
Clothing optional.
Clothing optional, Naked After Show. Anyways, with that said, I'm Osmo, we have Bobby, we have Lenny, and to everyone else...
Bobby wants a word in before you close the show. You do.
No, I want to ask Captain something, but not on there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, so peace out, bitches. We'll see you next week. Hopefully not on time, like always.